And one more thing, there's a new study from the journal Trends in Genetics. I don't know what it is either, but they suggest that humans may be getting dumber. And get this, they spell dumber with a B. Morons. Anyway, some geneticists believe we no longer have the evolutionary need to be smart. So apparently humans lose intelligence as they gain reality shows about toddlers wearing makeup. And, but don't worry, we're still getting fatter. That we are doing. There's another area in which I feel like we're headed in the wrong direction. I want to get serious for a minute if I could, because I've been hearing a lot of talk lately, and I don't know if this is more prevalent in L.A. than other places, but I feel like it probably is, but there's a small but still sizable group of people who are choosing not to vaccinate their children. Here in L.A., there are schools in which 20% of the students aren't vaccinated because parents here are more scared of gluten than they are of smallpox. And as a result, we now have measles again. We've got measles. I want to say something about that. I know if you're one of these anti-vaccine people, you probably aren't going to take medical advice from a talk show host, and I don't expect you to. I wouldn't either. But I would expect you to take medical advice from almost every doctor in the world.
But doctors, Jimmy, are taught just about drugs and surgery, and they're really kind of only told what to do by the pharmaceutical companies, or else they'll lose their license if they don't.
See, the thing about doctors is they didn't learn about the human body from their friend's Facebook page. They went to medical school where they studied all sorts of amazing things, like how to magically prevent children from contracting horrible diseases by giving them a little shot. You know those little shots of Botox? Which is botulism, by the way. You get in your face to make your head look smooth and your eyes look crazy? A little shot like that, and poof, polio is gone. But some people do not buy into that because they did a Google search and Jenny McCarthy popped up and she had clothes on, so they listened to what she had to say and decided not to vaccinate their kids. Now, and by the way, I want to say, this would all be okay if your kids were the only ones affected. They're your kids, but they're not, because unvaccinated kids put all children in danger, especially babies who are too young to get the vaccination shot. But, of course, that's according to doctors, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt.
And doctors are told what to do by the drug companies, who make up all the guidelines on how to use those injections.
Now, some people are saying kids who aren't vaccinated shouldn't be allowed to go to school or daycare or go to public places, but here's how I think it should go. If you are one of those people who knows more than doctors, that's fine, no vaccinations, but you're not allowed to go to the doctor anymore. Okay? Why would you even want to go to a doctor who knows less than you do? So, if you fall and you cut your head open, you will not be admitted to the emergency room. Stay at home, find that sewing kit you stole from the Marriott, and stitch it up yourself, Doc. The doctor will see you never.
When doctors went on strike in certain places, actually the death rate dropped. You see, accidental deaths due to drugs, and mostly due to prescription drugs, is dramatically on the increase in America.
Oh, by the way, you should also let your kids smoke. Why wouldn't you? The only people who say not to are doctors, and they don't know.
And I'll tell you what, there was a time that doctors said that you should smoke. There's lots of this old advertisement. Those doctors were kind of crazy.
As we look at this bit of history about how doctors and what they thought about smoking, we can see that doctors are sometimes very, very ill-informed. And oftentimes, even nowadays, the drug companies are also ill-informing them, not telling them about all the risks. And you see, tobacco companies even used babies once for their ads.
So I feel like this is starting to snowball. So we invited some real doctors to address this. Again, these are not actors. These are actual medical professionals. Every one of them is a real doctor. So hear them out and then decide for yourself.
I am a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
And I believe in vaccinations.
And I believe in vaccinations.
If you don't vaccinate your kids, it can endanger their lives.
Yes, I'm a doctor too. I'm a retired doctor. And you really should get your kids vaccinated.
The potential downsides of vaccinations are almost non-existent.
The cumulative scientific and medical communities are in absolute full agreement
That there is basically no reason not to vaccinate your kids.
No reason.
Which is why I cannot believe we have to make this PSA.
I thought we settled this in the 50s.
Hey, remember that time you got polio? No, you don't, because your parents got you vaccinated.
I did 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school.
And 3 years of pediatric residency.
I had to go to school for 8 years.
I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about.
But you people still won't listen.
Now I have to use my only day off to talk to you idiots about vaccines?
I want to finish watching Breaking Bad.
I'm only halfway through the second season.
But instead, I've got to come here.
Because you listened to some moron who read a forwarded email.
Perfect.
All these people had to set up cameras, lights, sound equipment, so that I could tell you to do something we've been doing for a century. Look at all these people.
This is stupid.
Get your kids vaccinated.
Get your kids vaccinated.
Get your kids vaccinated.
I believe in vaccination, but I believe in homeopathic safe vaccination. It's going to be difficult for you to find a good homeopathic doctor who could really do it at 6, 7, or 10x, but it is possible. And you really should recognize that vaccinations are not the extreme problem, that actually there's much more problems from the synthetic drugs. Yes, these doctors went to medical school to learn how to push drugs, to do surgery. That's almost 99% of the education, because it's almost all sponsored by the pharmaceutical companies. Yes, vaccination, I think, is a good thing. You should be very careful, and you should really look at who is your doctor and who isn't your doctor. And I think vaccination is really not such a big problem, and I think it can be done safely. But synthetic drugs are not safe. And if you're going to go to one of these doctors, what about these synthetic drugs like antibiotics? The antibiotics don't really work on your immune system. They work on the intruder. The natural process is to work with the immune system, with a probiotic idea, and fortify the immune system. You get much better results from that, rather than using those antibiotics like they're candy.
The world has learned a lot about these antibiotics and how they're really not helping people like we thought that they were, and all the secondary effects. And we really should not be using these antibiotics like candy. In fact, many magazines like Time and Newsweek have done stories on the death and the end of antibiotics. You see, these doctors only know about magic pills.
And what about depression? Do you think you're depressed because you're Prozac deficient or some new drug, designer drug deficient? No, you're depressed because you got life, because you need to, understand more about your life. You need to take a look at your nutrition. You got to get off that sugar shit. You got to stop smoking, stop eating for stimulation with coffee, and start really dealing with your problems creatively and using your depression creatively, and use your depression to get out of depression. Activity. Get up, act, do, learn. That will work much better for your depression than any of the drugs that they're going to give you.
And antidepressants prescribed to children, dramatically on the rise. And the side effects of these antidepressants like Prozac, making mass killing. And do you think that the doctors have any idea?
How about high blood pressure? High blood pressure, that's also something we found that diet, lifestyle, eating good, this is much, much better than those high blood pressure pills. Those pills have side effects. You see, all of these synthetic drugs, they all have side effects. They're all killing people. They're creating more diseases. Now, basically, as a population, we've all learned to avoid synthetic foods. And if you go to a restaurant and look on the menu and you see synthetic wine or synthetic cheese, you won't order it. You don't want it. You don't want that synthetic stuff. But when you go to the doctor, he's going to give you synthetics. And why? Because the drug companies make patents on the synthetics. And then they make money. don't worry so much about you. They worry about their profit before they worry about the people. So what I want to say is think about what doctor you're going to go to. Diabetes. Jesus, get off of the sugar. Don't leave your life going from sugar to sugar. Coca-Cola. Switch from that sucrose to fruit. Let fruit be your sweetener. It's just as sweet. In fact, it tastes better. And it's better for you. Let fruit and fruit juice be. But then don't overindulge. And you're going to find now you don't even get the diabetes as much. And you can still maintain, and you can work with natural medicine and maintain diabetes correctly as well.
It's the drugs, the sugar, the tobacco, these are what keep the people coming back. And doctors even participate with the sugar. And you see, to use a synthetic anything is an insult to the body. And these drugs dramatically have side effects and create dependency. And they are a big part of the problem.
To use a synthetic anything is to insult the body. This is the basic idea of all that these doctors have learned. All that these doctors have learned. Ask them. Do they know anything about natural medicine? No. They don't know anything about natural medicine. They don't know about lifestyle. They know what the drug companies have paid them and taught them to do and say.
Last week on the show, I spoke about something that I've been thinking about lately, which is childhood vaccinations, because my daughter's almost 8 months old. She got her booster shot this morning, so I've become more aware of the fact that some parents don't believe in vaccinating their kids, which is something that the overwhelming majority of the medical community recommends. So I got a group of real doctors together to do a public service announcement urging parents to vaccinate, and wow, did this make some people mad. These are real tweets I got over the weekend. I've taken the people's names out for their own protection. Jimmy Kimmel is a pathetic effing human being, as is controlled by the corporations. Jimmy Kimmel and TV news anchors personally know as much about vaccine science as an ant knows about spaceship navigation. Clever. May I just say, Jimmy Kimmel, you are a effing piece of Oh, I guess I should have not. Etc. Drop dead, you effing douchebag. Well, Jimmy Kimmel, it's blatantly clear you were handed a script by people who make billions from vaccines. How very original of you. Hashtag sellout. Jimmy Kimmel crossed the line. Those doctors should have their licenses revoked. Sick, off the air, you puppet. Jimmy Kimmel is a disgusting boil on the ass of entertainment. Ignorant. You're an idiot. There's just as many doctors that are against vaccines. No, there aren't, but... Fear not, my stupid little sheep. I'll keep you distracted from the realities of this world, and I'll lead you fearlessly to your slaughter.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel is a puppet on the string to the chemical companies, and I use B in Kimmel, yes. And none are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe that they are free. And only a total moron would blindly support the evil Big Pharma. And only such a moron would blindly let Big Pharma give unnatural chemicals to their kids.
And one more. IMHO, Jimmy Kimmel is worse than the priest abusing boys and Bill Cosby drugging girls. Boycott ABC. So you can see people are taking a reasonable approach to this. Some of these people are demanding that I apologize, which I, of course, will not do. Some are saying I'm attacking families with autism, which is nonsense, because I happen to be in a family with autism. A lot of these groups are insisting that I present both sides of the argument. And I'm not going to do that either because, well, for the same reason I wouldn't present both sides if a group of people decided that pancakes make you gay. They don't. And there's no point in discussing it.
There is a strong correlation about the vaccination and autism. However, it's just not causative. But there is a distinctly very, very extreme causative relation between chemicals such as the Roundup and other chemicals with autism.
So if you really believe if you genuinely believe that 99% of the doctors in this country are dishonest, then you need to see a doctor, ironically.
Yes, Big Pharma uses the media as a middleman to help to supply and to make people think that their chemicals are actually safe when most of the time they're not well tested. We have to watch out for this. To use a synthetic anything is an insult to the body. And you can learn more from this from our websites and all the books constituting extreme scientific proof.
Get your kids vaccinated or lose my number.
Get your kids vaccinated, or these doctors may never find out that Walt dies at the end of Breaking Bad.
Are you kidding me, dude?
The guy died? The guy died in Breaking Bad? Whoa. What's Breaking Bad?
Big Pharma makes up diseases to sell drugs and increase profit. They do everything they possibly can. And if you think about all of the drugs that the FDA has said have been real and effective and safe, later on, masses of them have been taken off the market because they're hurting people. Do you think that any one of these medical doctors want to debate about the integrity or the honesty of the pharmaceutical profession?
Thank you, doctor.
So you want to think about vaccination? Jimmy Kimmel, why don't you think about what doctor you're going to? And if your doctor has no appreciation for your body natural, and if he has no appreciation whatsoever for lifestyle, no appreciation for natural medicine, and if he just wants to drug you and drug you and drug you, you better think twice about going back to that doctor.